Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent, but why? I'm often asked, why is the PH silent? And I'd like to clarify, if it wasn't silent, my name would be Jorphdan. If we lived in such a world, we'd pronounce words like island, ballot, perhaps pneumonia. These words would sound weird, and so would Jorphdan. If we took the W in answer, the H in ghost, the extra A in aardvark, and the T in listen, you could keep saying what, but no one would hear you because the whole word would be silent. Unfortunately, we live in a world of silent letters, and some of us have fallen victim to the English language. Remember to keep the PH silent. I'll try to remind you at the beginning of every video. On this channel, I talk about Dungeons & Dragons history and lore. Today, I'm going to talk about a small piece of lore concerning a wizard named Mhzentul and the magical rings he crafted, specifically the 7 lost rings of Mhzentul. Let's dive in. Magical items are plenty throughout the Forgotten Realms. It's funny that all these zombies, orcs, or beholders are guarding vast hordes of treasure, but never bother to use the Amulet of Health or Animated Shield. It's sitting there in a vault somewhere for adventurers to find and use. This was not the case for Mhzentul. He was a great wizard who crafted many magical items throughout his lifetime, the most famous of which was the 7 rings, now known as the 7 lost rings of Mhzentul because, well, they're lost. Not much has been written about Mhzentul, and I'm not sure if he's in any Forgotten Realms novels, but I suspect he isn't. So we know little about him. He was a very powerful and respected mage who traveled much of Faerun during the 13th and beginning of the 14th century. It was rumored that he had a mountain abode hidden that contained much of his magical items and wealth. He experimented with magical item creation and excelled at it, creating the famous 7 lost rings. He also studied and perfected the art of flame magic. In 1340 DR, the forces of Sembia engaged the cult of the dragon in a battle at Featherdale. Mhzentul was there and tragically lost his life, but he went out with a bang. Known as the Battle of the River Rising, Mhzentul magically transformed into a living pillar of flame and burned his way across the field of battle. Decimating the cult of the dragon, his flame body kept going and blazed out into the sea of fallen stars. It is believed that Mhzentul died. However, a body was never found, perhaps consumed entirely by the fire of the spell, or perhaps he sunk into the sea. Lots of story potential to bring him back or go looking for the body. He is also known for a magical book he penned known as Mhzentul's Runes. The book and the rings are powerful artifacts, and although from 2nd edition, I feel they could be easily brought up to whatever edition of D&D you currently play. The 2nd edition art doesn't depict how amazing these rings are, so maybe glamour them up. Each ring acts as a ring of spell storing, but on top of that, they regenerate spells natively, filling the spell slots. Plus, each ring has unique abilities. There is the Ring of Burning, Ring of Coldfire, Ring of Night, Ring of Scribes, Ring of Stone, Ring of Tishala, and Ring of Wayfaring. The book Mhzentul's Runes was a spellbook that contained the precise details on how to create these enchanted rings. There was also a section on fire magic, where if you studied it long enough, it would provide you a decrease in time and research for fire-related spells. The spells Fireball, Fire Shield, Fire Trap, and Delayed Fireball were present in the spellbook as well. After his death, many searched for his hidden mountain home, hoping to get rich and powerful. It was eventually found by a party of treasure seekers, but they did not find the rings or the book. Rumors started to fly as to the whereabouts of each magical artifact. 6 years after the mage's death, the book somehow came into the possession of a half-orc thief named Uthmang. As word got out, he was challenged by a red wizard of Thay named Alilthang, who killed him quickly. The wizard took the book, who was then defeated by a group of priests at Greenstone Keep, and finally it found its way to Legrand the Sage, until he lost it and evil parties gained control of it, which the ownership trail goes cold there. It is rumored that the Zhentarim mage Whisper, which let's be honest is a pretty fantastic name for a Zhentarim mage, found the spellbook Mhzentul's Runes. He also found 2 of the rings. A mediocre mage, his arcane power was supplemented by the rings and spellbook, but Whisper was then killed by some knights who took the 2 rings he had, and they were given to a temple of Lothander for safekeeping in Cormyr. The spellbook was never found. 4 of the lost rings and the tome might be hidden in Whisper's sanctuary known as Whisper's Crypt. However, the 7th ring was believed to be on Mhzentul when he died. It might be in the Sea of Fallen Stars, the beach, or at the battlefield site against the Cult of the Dragon. There is belief that his essence may be trapped in the ring, making it a sentient artifact, whispering advice to any who put it on. Each ring was a simple band of mithril with complex runes placed on it and treated with dwarven everbright. Everbright was a process to make an item especially beautiful and would be immune to rust and corrosion. Each of the rings shared the power to heal a wearer when the user wielded, which could also be used to purge the wearer of poisons, charms, and other curses, kind of like a powerful lay on hands ability tied to the ring. The Ring of Burning had various flame spells in it. The Ring of Coldfire had ice spells such as Wall of Ice and Cone of Cold. The Ring of Night granted dark vision out to 90 feet. And once a week you could change the ring into a powerful Margoyle, which is a stronger version of a gargoyle. This creature would follow telepathic orders of whoever summoned it. You could even magically teleport and swap places with the Margoyle. The Ring of Scribes had various spells like Comprehend Languages, True Seeing, and Wizard Mark, and you were immune to magical effects that harmed you while reading magical writings or inscriptions. The Ring of Stone allowed you to cast Stone Shape twice a day, and it too could transform into a Stone Guardian once a week, where telepathically you could control the creature for 24 hours or until it was destroyed. The Ring of Tishala also had fire spells locked within it, such as Meteor Swarm. If you used the ring to cast Meteor Swarm, there was a 20% chance you were transformed into a greater fire tail, also known as a Tishala. This was a 2nd edition monster that I don't know if made its way into later editions. It is essentially a living flame with attacks that cause fire damage and ignite flammable objects. Perhaps a living spell creature could be used from 5e for the transformation. This was the ring Mhzentul was wearing when he died. Finally, the Ring of Wayfaring contains spells such as Unseen Servant and Find the Path. For a 5e version, perhaps Locate Object or Creature. And there were custom spells that accompanied these rings, which you can read up on in the 2nd edition supplement, Volo's Guide to All Things Magical. I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you for liking and subscribing. If you really want to support me, join me on Patreon, where you gain access to my podcasts and actual plays that I make. Here on this channel, I make videos like these, as well as reviews of supplements and adventures I enjoy. Check out my playlist for info on the Forgotten Realms or Eberron. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the next video.